Jakes was comfortable with just hitting your line.
Wow.
Your phone.
This dude is a parrot.
Like everything was good.
You copying everything I said, bro.
Just something to consider.
I'm gonna expose your ass.
Is
Talk about this particular interview. He couldn't wait. He fast forwarded the video all the way up to the section that I reviewed real quick so that he can try to get some sort of buzz. You can look at his energy and see he's not even into what he's doing. He's just doing it to do it because he wants people to view so he could get views. That's it. He don't have no original thought. His reactions to this stuff is not real. You know why? He was watching and analyzing my videos already.
that be out in these churches. But in TD Power Bottom Jakes feel comfortable taking a bubble bath, calling your phone, telling you what you gonna do. Why did that man feel comfortable?
Notice how he keeps saying comfortable. This is something that I was saying throughout my entire video. Do you see how New Bonnet continually become parrot, copy and regurgitating anything that I talk about? This man have no original content. It's like he see what I do and it looks like, okay, it's working for him. Okay, let me go do the same thing. But you're not me, bro. You're not Ringo TV. I'm the best at this.
Do you know anyone who has grandiose delusions? Meaning those delusions where people fantasize about success or ideal love. I'm a licensed therapist and I'm here to tell you why people have grandiose delusions. Typically, people have grandiose delusions because they feel so insecure inside that they have to go over the top in order to find meaning in their life.
Even down to the point where he went live earlier. Watch how my videos outdo his. Even down to the point where he went live earlier. Watch how my videos outdo his. But you're not me, bro. You're not Ringo TV. I'm the best at this. The people that hate me cannot possibly be my people. The people that want to see me die can't possibly be my people. I have people that want to see me fall. That's their goal. Those are not my people. Imagine people wishing for your downfall. But you're not me, bro. You're not Ringo TV. I'm the best at this.
They condemn you. They tear you down.
Even down to the point where he went live earlier. Watch how my videos outdo his. I have people that want to see me fall. Even down to the point where he went live earlier. Watch how my videos outdo his. I have people that want to see me fall. When you feel all alone, you have to embrace the silence. You have to reminisce on why you exist. You have to tap into your soul and understand the energy that is around you, the why, the who, and the what. I'm here. I exist, but I'm alone. I'm breathing. I exist. So there's a reason why I'm here. You have to embrace who you are to understand where you're going.
For delusions of grandeur, the victim believes that they have more power, wealth, smarts, or other grand traits than is true. People experiencing delusions of grandeur often describe larger-than-life feelings of superiority, excellence, and invulnerability. As a symptom, this illness exists on a spectrum, and it can range from inflated self-esteem to sweeping delusions of grandeur. Sometimes, symptoms of delusions of grandeur can be challenging to identify and pin down. Here are the 5 ways to cure delusions of grandeur.
But you're not me, bro. You're not Ringo TV. I'm the best at this.
Medication. For people with delusions of grandeur, medical doctors often prescribe medicine for psychotic symptoms and depression to balance the person's mood. Although it's unlikely that drugs alone will be enough to manage the condition, it helps a great deal. Since most patients of delusions of grandeur get into depression, they can be helped by using medications that can be helpful. Depending on the cause of the illusions, doctors may prescribe antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, and antipsychotic medications. Through mental health therapy, another way to ease the patients of delusions of grandeur is through some types of talk therapy, which may help reduce grandiose delusions.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Recha HaKwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren, you fellow believers of this truth, and shalom to the elect. So anyway, it didn't take me much to find out, too much on this guy and his delusions and his arrogance, his pride, and his vanity, right? He got all these things rolled up in one. And, the reason why I want to do this video, because this man has somehow connected himself or infused himself to being a Hebrew Israelite, and he does nothing that Hebrew Israelites do. At least I haven't seen it. He's got long hair, so maybe he's with the Old Testament Israelites? Well, no. Well, maybe they are. I don't know. But Paul said if a man has long hair, it's a shame unto him. Clearly this man is trying to hold on to this style. I think he's a little too old for that. But, some of us just like things because we like them. I like things, but, that's vanity. And you can see how this man stares into the screen, right, to show his vanity. He looks away, and then when he comes to the end of his point, he kicks his face back into the screen. I don't know, man. Who is he raised by? A lot of times, those mamas, right? This is an effeminate vibration. This is an effeminate man. I'm not saying he goes the other way. Who knows? I mean, these Boule bandits are defending Guerrilla Hebrew, so I don't know. But I am saying, as the book of Galatians says, if a man think himself to be something when he's nothing, he deceiveth himself. Yahweh is not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reapeth. Let me see here. Yeah, Galatians 6:3. For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. This man literally, a few months back, got on New Breed, who also says he was an Israelite and denounced it. I'm not sure. He might still think he is. Instead of just rolling with his content, the man has covetousness, right? He gets jealous because another man is going in on a particular content that may sound similar to his. See, when you come into the truth, right, you'll start realizing you're not only you. You're you, seek your salvation, but there will be other men who will have spirits like yours, right? If he was a Hebrew Israelite, he would know that. He would know that I'm not the only man that do these kind of videos. Some do different variations of them. There's other brothers who do videos similar and do all kinds of different videos mixed in and with prophecy. Everybody has a particular lot and a portion, but what is given to you is given to you. But this selfish man who has an issue with Hebrew Israelite show himself to be a hater to his own brother. Because his own brother is bringing out talking points that he believed that he pulled first. Is this not Deuteronomy 28? I don't know why this man don't think he's a Hebrew Israelite, because that's the curses. Their eyes shall be evil towards his brother. He was exhibiting signs of the curses right there. And then he talks about we want to tear brothers down and hate one another. And this guy and Netta sit up here and all they've ever done was tore people down. Now they get mad when somebody looks like they're tearing them down. Can't nobody tear you down but the Lord, man. You're being exposed and rebuked for your wickedness. That's what's happening. Ezekiel 10 and 13. The beginning of the words of his mouth is foolishness, and at the end of his talk is mischievous and madness, right? So everything this man does, like you sheeple, the women, they look at this and say, oh, this man is very intelligent, intellectual. I actually watched the video, and I thought he made good points, talking points, which is true. But then in his mind, he's saying, I'm Ringo TV, I'm the best at this. You know what that is? That's pride and arrogance, right? Because he sits there for 9 and 10 hours on a video going in on Pastor Dow because he has a problem with Pastor Dow. Look, man, if you knew the Bible, the scriptures at the end of the day just tells you these people are meant to do what they do. There's nothing you could do about it. Of course, you're going to warn the people, but why aren't you going out teaching? Look, this is what the scriptures say. This is what the scriptures say. Matthew 22:9. Right? Let me go here. It says, go ye therefore into the highways. Well, let me go to John 14:6. It says, if you love me, keep my commandments. But what does the scripture say? Go ye therefore into the highways and the hedges, as many as you shall find bid to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both good and bad. So if this man is not claiming to be a prophet or never have been a prophet, then why are you trying to do prophetical things? Okay, you wanted to be an Israelite? It didn't work out. This guy's never been an Israel. Well, to us, he's talking about the Israelite community. He was a part of that community. There's different factions and sectors in this so-called community. So I have no idea what he's talking about there. But for whatever reason, he'll lump all, when it comes to Christianity, he's back with Jesus Christ now, with the whole Christian community, and the Christian community has been doing nothing but molestation, robbery, deceit. Now, I don't know if he's exactly back in the Christian community, but he says he calls on Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? The God of the Israelites, but yet he's still calling on Jesus Christ. Yeah, it sounds like somebody got to him, right? This does sound crabby. It smells crabby. Something's up with this picture. He wound up getting himself a lot of views. He started getting himself indoctrinated in social media, right? And getting some form of vanity and fame. Did he get a call? I don't know. I'm just saying, is this all speculation? Because all of a sudden, he's not an Hebrew Israelite. Then he announces it all over the platform, and the same controversial man that he claims to be, or he is, he doesn't expect controversy to come back to him. What did you expect? If other people say, hey man, curse you or whatever, that's them. I'm not going to do that. But at the end of the day, well, the hell with you. Who cares? Right now, the judgment's on you. You turned your back on the Lord. Okay? You turned your back on the Lord. But for what? Let's go to Matthew 6:24. No man can serve two masters. As I don't think I did a video. I said a video, right? When you look at the Lord Yahweh, he's allowed to have many servants, right? Women. What I mean, he calls us his women. All the tribes, right? He's allowed to have that because he's our head. Now, when you a man, right, we only allowed to serve one God. Although he could serve many. I mean, he could have many servants. So as a woman, you as a leader, as a God that you are as a man, you're not the Most High, but he said you are gods. As a man, you're allowed to have many women, right? But as the women concerned, she's only supposed to have one husband. And as the children, you get the point. Because why? When you have a head and you try to serve many gods, it brings confusion because you're not guided down the path. Remember, the head God is the one that leads many. And if you're a man, you lead many. If you're a prophet, you lead many. But those many is only supposed to, each one of them is only supposed to follow you, right? I don't follow different doctrines. I don't follow different gods. That's just how it works. So you can't serve two masters. This is why when a woman messes around, it doesn't work out. She's angry at one and she's holding to the other. Let's go on. No man can serve two masters. No one can serve two masters. It says no man can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or either she will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God, Yahweh, and Mammon, which means the riches, right? So the Lord didn't set these men up as prophets to be on these panels and talk trash and go back and forth, right, without being a prophet of the Lord and warning the people of what's coming and going on the highways and hedges and teaching. This is not a prophet. He was never amongst us. He was never with us. He might have been claiming to be an Israelite, but he was never part of this community. I can tell you that. I don't know what commune he was with, but it wasn't with this community. That's for sure. And let me say our community at Great Millstone. And let me say all of One West. He was not another. This man did not act as a member of the Hebrew Israelites that we are, right? I don't know what kind of Hebrew Israelite he is, right? So you can't hold it against all of us because you was never with us. This guy's a weirdo. It's straight up. Something is wrong with him. He sits in the car. He does these staring videos and looking around and looking back, right? He thinks he's the greatest thing to walk the earth. You know, he thinks he's prideful. He lifted himself up. The scripture says, a man that is humble shall be lifted up, but a man that lift himself up shall be abased, shall be brought down low. Right? The pride in his heart has deceived him. He thinks he's the man. He thinks he's the one. He thinks he's like Neo. This is the mindset he is. Right? So let's see what, according to the Bible, who are the true prophets? Who are God's prophets? And even out of that, there's an elect. Right? It says, while the Pharisees were gathered together, Yahushua asked them, saying, well, no, that's not it. That's Matthew 22. Let me go to Matthew 12. It says, while he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak of him, talking about Jesus, Yahushua. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. So when you know the story, Yahushua, as a young man, he told his mother, I'm going to do my father's business. He went in the temple, started talking to his disciples as a very young man, right? Right? And then he says, then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother? With a question mark. Who is my brethren? Who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever, he's pointing to them and said, well, look, this is my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and my sister and my mother. Because he had his brother and his sister and his mother. It's ironic that his earthly father wasn't there. So that was a very spiritual thing, right? He never denounced the name of an actual father because his Father in heaven is the ultimate power. So we see here that if you're not doing the will of the Father, right, then you're not doing the Lord's work. And this man has long, dreadful, which dreads come from dreadful, long, dreadful, dried up dreadlocks. I mean, he's too old for it, you know? It's not classy, right? It's just not, it just doesn't look good. It's not a good look. It's not decently and in order. He's still following the practices of the other gods. And it makes sense, right? It clearly makes sense what's going on here. This man is bugged out, right? He has some serious bugged out issues. All this time he was talking about the Israelites, right? This Morpheus character. All this time he was talking about how the Israelites don't like me. They tear me down. You know, 1 Corinthians 4th chapter tells you that. You know, that we will be persecuted for the truth. We entreated. We suffer it. That's part of the truth. So wait a minute. When Yahushua was walking the earth, the one you call Jesus, Apostle Paul, the disciples, and everybody's walking the earth, everybody loved him. When they was talking about killing them. Our own people. I have no idea what the hell this guy's talking about. He keeps saying our own people is the one that's tearing me down. I don't want to be a part of that. When it was our own people who's responsible behind the persecution of Yahushua, right? And Apostle Paul and various others. Has he not read the Bible of how Israel fought against one another? The Israelites? This man's a weirdo. He's still a Christian. He still loves Christianity. And that's where he belongs. You know, we're not fighting for this guy. We just expose him as another wicked Jake that claimed to know the truth and get some kind of clout. And then now when the clout didn't measure up, now he drops it to get another form of a clout by talking totally against what he recently believed. That's embarrassing. That's all I have on that. Shalom.